challenging problem. We had to make a maglev train, and we're going to go into a little more of the constraints later. So you could quickly just glance through this. To create an effective and efficient maglev train. That's pretty much what we're doing. So next slide. So when we were brainstorming, it came down to two main things: the magnetic lift and the propulsion. First, the propulsion. What are we going to use? One wheel or two wheels? So we're going to talk a little bit about that later, but also magnetic lift. So we had the first option of going with 4 magnets doubled up or 8 magnets single. We ended up going with the 8 magnets. It worked a lot better. So next slide. We're going to have my friend Jake up here talk a little bit about our wheel choice and some research and generating ideas. So Jacob.
All right, for the placement of the wheels, we were either going to go with the wheels on the outside of the track, propelling it along, or we were going to go with the gears inside, pushing it along from there. We'll go into what we decided on later in the next coming slides. John, back to you.
Thank you. Next we're going to have Alex talk a little bit about the criteria and specifying constraints.
Right. So for the maglev vehicle, we were not allowed to have anything being propelled along by a horizontal surface. So we had to be pushing against the 2 vertical powered walls, basically. We also were not allowed to use a propeller as our propulsion system, so we went with a wheel system. And we had 2.5 hours.
So we used the decision matrix to talk and brainstorm, solve problems. We used a 1 to 5 scale to figure out what ideas we're going to use, what's the best approach, what's going to be most effective. So if you look here, we found that 1 wheel on the inside was the most effective using the decision matrix.
Next slide.
So I'd like next to have Jeremy, also my brother, talk a little bit about this drawing right here. So,
well, this drawing on the PowerPoint is basically an Autodesk rendering of the body of our love machine, and we used Autodesk because it easily communicated and collaborated our ideas throughout our group. It lessened the room for error because the last thing we wanted was a misunderstanding between our group members, so we all had an Autodesk rendering of our design that we had in mind, and then we collaborated from there. So we got all of our best ideas in one design, and this is what it came out to.
So the next step was to model and make a prototype. This was probably the most difficult thing to convey, so we really didn't make a slide for this, but it involved going back and forth, testing it many times, and we're going to have some people come up here and talk a little bit about the changes that we made along the way. So Matt, you want to talk about that?
So originally we were going to go with 2 wheels on either side to kind of pull it forward. But we went with 1 wheel on the inside, and we used a tensioner mechanism to press it against the wall, so we made sure we had contact. And then we hot glued a rubber band around the gear to give it traction.
Do you want to talk about it? Yeah.
Another major improvement we made with our car was that with our maglev vehicle was that the weight distribution. Because we had the engine in the rear, it would just lift up on the back. So what we did was we cut out a slanted piece and we put weights on it to balance the center of gravity and make it more stable in the middle, so we won't have the problem of it tilting backwards.
So that about does it for our presentation. Thank you very much, and thanks for all that have participated.